You're listening to KFWB News Talk 980. My name is Les Brown, Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. And if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the fact that success leaves clues, and that in order to be successful, I never forget my mother was a domestic worker on Miami Beach, and she cleaned homes and cooked for families, and she kept her children. We ate the food left over from the families that she cooked for. These were very kind and generous people. They said, Mamie, whatever food is left over, you can pack it up and take it home to those 7 children that you have adopted. We wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that Mama kept. They're too small. Mama could sew. She'd let them out. They're too large. She could take them in. And I'll never forget David Sedersky. David Sedersky was a young guy that I was raised with. David. I went to work with Mama, and we played together as kids on Miami Beach at a very challenging time during that particular time. I'll never forget when David's father, on his birthday, told him something, gave him some advice, and he gave him a Christmas gift, and he gave him a birthday gift all at one time. He says, David, he said, I want you to remember this. He said, in order to be successful, David, he said, study successful people and do what they do. If you want to be successful, watch and study successful people and do what they do. And he said, if you want to fail, watch unsuccessful people and do what they do. I mean, it's common sense, but not common practice. And one of the things that, as we're talking about Jay-Z, who has went from the corner to the corner office. This is a book written by Zach O'Malley Greenberg. Empire State of Mind is the name of the book, and just detailing how he built this multi-million-dollar empire, is that what's possible for one is possible for all. What are the things that you've done as you look at your life, and you might not have built a multi-million-dollar empire, but you're on the way, that you're moving in that direction. And one of the things that I have learned is make failure and disappointment and setbacks your friend. That if you don't have a stomach for failure, for disappointments and setbacks, trust me, don't become involved in this thing called life, because it's all over the place. Make it your friend. If you make it okay to fail, trust me, eventually you're going to succeed, just with the law of probability. The other thing that I think is important in becoming successful in anything that you love to do, and I want to hear from you, what are some things that you've learned? The number to call is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. Now, this might seem odd to you. I don't think reaching your goal is really the true success of life. I think doing what you love to do and what you become in the process of pursuing your goal, if you're doing what you love, even if you don't land that star role, even if you don't end up on the big screen, even if you don't end up on Broadway, if you're doing what you love, even if you don't earn the kind of money that you would love to earn one day, if you're doing what you love, enjoy the trip. See, I show up every day to do this program, and I'm going to have a good time. I hope you have one, because I'm going to have a good time, whether you have a good time or not. I'm going to enjoy myself. Otherwise, I won't come in. See, I think you need to live your life in such a way where you have walk-away money. Where if you don't want to do it, you can just walk away. You just do something else. Because to me, life isn't about working for a living. It's about designing a life that you love and doing what you love to do. And if there's something you love to do, you love it so much you will want to master that. You want to do it exceptionally well. And if you look at Jay-Z, he marches to the beat of a different drummer. I've met him, and he's a very disciplined young man, very focused, and he knows what he wants. What is it you want? What is it that, as you look at your life, that you can say, you know what? This is what works for me. I was talking to Ken earlier. Ken said, Les, I don't trust nobody. I don't trust, no. I don't trust nobody with my money. That's one of the keys is watching and monitoring your stuff. That's one of the keys to financial freedom. The thing that as we look today, and this is a time where you either expand or you are expendable. You cannot be one-dimensional today. because people who are working, they have 2 and 3 jobs. You got to have 2 and 3 different core competencies, and you can't say, well, that's not in my job description. Oh no, that day is gone. You've got to do whatever is required. When you look at yourself, what do you attribute your being where you are and how you've gotten there as a manager, as a supervisor, in your career? What is it that sets you aside as a person in a so-called tough economy, that your sales were still strong? What did you do differently than the other people? I know there's never a long line for making cold calls, but there's something you've got going for you. That number to call is 888. I invite you to call me because I want to hear your story. 888-539-2980. There's a movie called Morning Glory, and there's a line, and there's a moment in the movie. This young girl, she wanted to be on a morning show, and a friend was telling me about it, that something that jumped out for her. You know, whenever I look at movies and people that I know, we're always looking for messages in movies. And this girl's mother said to her, trying to discourage her from pursuing her dream of being on a morning show, she said, baby, at 8, your desire to be on the morning show, it was cute. At 18, it was inspiring. At 28, it's just embarrassing. Now, the daughter wasn't embarrassed. The mother was embarrassed. You know, like she was embarrassed for her to, come on, give it up. That's not going to happen. You know, there are people who are just waiting for you to fail, who will celebrate that. I'm telling you, I know that personally. I had a friend that she just knew that I would not make it as a speaker, and she invited me to have lunch with a friend of hers that I did not know, who was a psychiatrist. And after they sat there and listened to me and my goals and dreams, the psychiatrist, Rosalind is her name, I mentioned this before on the air, said, can we go to the bathroom, Mildred? And she said, yes. And they went in the bathroom and came back. Mildred and I we were engaged at the time. Her eyes are red. And she said, Les, she said, there's something I need to say. And Rosalind said, may I excuse myself? I said, sure, take care. And she looked at me and she said, go ahead and live your dreams, Leslie. I said, I will. And so Mildred said, Les, Rosalind is a psychiatrist. I said, and? She said, you're suffering from delusions of grandeur. I said, what does that mean? What does that mean? She said, that you're a little off in the head. Oh my God, I'll never forget. And so that broke up. She said, that broke up our engagement. She said, no, she said, I had potential, but I didn't have no money.
Well, now, you should call her up now and see how she likes you.
Oh, let the record show. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. So now, please tell us what's happening in the news, Maggie. Tell us the good news. Yes. Do you have any good news?
Good news is hard to come by. Oh. But we have some. But we do. We dug it up. Why waste all your time being set up when you can simply buy a first date, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's called whatsyourprice.com. Wow, I'm old school. I have to tell you, I am not kidding you. This is for real.
That sounds like formalized prostitution.
That's what I said. And
you gotta be kidding.
I'm not kidding. Wait till you hear what the guy has to say about it. And this one might make you blush less. Early puberty, at least for girls, can start as soon as 6.5. I know.
You're kidding.
I'm not. I said the same thing to the pediatrician. But why and how? We'll talk with a pediatrician who weighs in on this. It's a little creepy. And with more than 16% of Americans reporting that they're unaffiliated religiously, a new atheist Bible might just have an audience.
An atheist Bible?
Yes.
And who do they believe in?
Exactly. We're going to find out at 4 on
There's
LA's
an
Afternoon
atheist
News.
Bible.
Well, there is. It's just coming out. I'm telling you.
Only in America.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
And how in the world does this happen? A toddler got served alcohol at a very popular restaurant everyone's heard of. Oh, it happened, and it almost killed the little 15-month-old. And the ironic part is the little 15-month-old parents aren't even old enough to drink. So they're all at this restaurant, and the boyfriend of the mom, who's 19, tasted that what they thought was apple juice. And I'm not going to tell you the whole story because you have to listen at 4 to LA's Afternoon News. But wait till you hear what happened after that.
And they gave the toddler some alcohol.
Not intentionally. The restaurant, not the parents.
The restaurant did this.
It was a mistake, but we'll tell you how that happens. This is just a little bit of what we have coming up at 4 on LA's Afternoon
You
News.
always make the news so interesting. Such a fascinating voice you have.
Thank you, Les. Thank you. Okay, then tune in at 4, all right?
All right, we will check you
On your
out
drive
without
home.
any question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's Maggie. Make sure you listen to her. She brings the news like no one else can. I mean, she's got it like that. And listen, we're talking about what are the clues that you use that you've learned from watching and studying successful people in your life that caused you to have a measure of success that you feel good about. We're going to be talking about some of the things that you can do and apply in your life, but I want to hear from you. The number to call is 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. Something that you remember that you said, you know what, I'm going to do this. You held on to it, and it made a difference in your life. When Mr. Leroy Washington said to me, Mr. Brown, you want to be successful? He said, remember this, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. Okay, listen, call me, 888-539-2980. That's 888-539-2980. You're listening to KFWB News Talk 980.